In over 100 years of MVPs being named in MLB, just 2 rookies have been able to win the award, with the first coming in 1975 to Fred Lynn. Building hype from his college days and late season debut, he was able to do what no rookie had done before. So let's look at how Fred Lynn became the first to win Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season.
Totally sports-esque. Majorly.
Fred Lynn was born as an only child in Chicago, but at the age of 1, his family moved to Los Angeles. Despite growing up in the suburbs of LA, he was a Giants fan, being a fan of the power from Willie McCovey and Willie Mays. And Lynn himself excelled in just about everything. He was a standout in every level of baseball, while lettering in 3 sports in high school. He was best in football and baseball, playing center field and pitching with no training on his mechanics, still posting an ERA under 1 in his junior and senior year, while also kicking and returning punts for the football team. Lynn always wanted to be the first person in his family to attend college, and told MLB teams to not draft him as he was intent on going to college. But that didn't stop the Yankees from drafting him in the 3rd round of the 1970 draft. He would of course decline the offer and committed to USC, actually as a football scholarship while also playing baseball. He played for the freshman football team in 1971, playing both sides of the ball while returning and kicking punts. And while he had success on the team, he switched his scholarship to baseball after. Playing on USC's varsity team, he was a big part of the start of college baseball's most dominant run. He appeared in 42 games his freshman year, hitting .345 with a 1.072 OPS in 42 games, hitting 7 home runs and 4 doubles and 4 triples. As USC would go 54-13 and win the College World Series for the 3rd time in 4 years, as Lynn was named to the All-Tournament team. And he was even better the next year, hitting .326 with a 1.157 OPS, hitting 14 home runs and driving in 46 in 56 games, as he was named an All-American. As USC would again win 50 games, and again they won the College World Series. He was again named an All-American in his junior year, as USC would win 52 games, and after racing a 7-run deficit in the 9th of the semis against Minnesota, with Dave Winfield shutting them out for the first 8 innings, Lynn went 2 for 3 with an RBI in the finals against Arizona State, as he won 4-3 for their 4th straight title. Lynn then declared for the draft and missed out on USC's 5th straight title, and he assumed the Dodgers would take him with their first selection at the 18th pick, 14 spots after Dave Winfield, who was selected after Robin Yount. But the Dodgers instead selected catcher Ted Farr, who never made it to the majors. The Dodgers still expected to be able to take him in the 2nd round, but right before they had that chance, the Red Sox would take him with their 2nd round pick, signing him for $40,000. And playing with Jim Rice, the Red Sox first pick in the 1971 draft, Lynn started out strong, but he would struggle some at the end, hitting .259 in 53 games. That was still enough to move up to AAA Pawtucket with Jim Rice during the playoffs, where they helped the Pawtucket Red Sox win the Governor's Cup. The two were then moved up to AAA for the whole season in '74, and they both showcased why they were the Red Sox future. Lynn made the league All-Star game, hitting .282 with 21 home runs and 19 doubles, with an .857 OPS, while Rice won the league Triple Crown. And somehow the team finished 57-87. And as the Red Sox and Boston were in first place for most of the year, Lynn was brought up to the majors in September, where he was the bright spot on a painful finish. He played 15 games, hitting .419 with a 1.19 OPS, with 2 home runs, as the Red Sox had a disappointing 3rd place finish after spending 101 days in first place. But the pain of the collapse would be erased by the 1975 season that was led by their young players. Fred Lynn and Jim Rice were 2 of a number of young core players making up the 1975 Red Sox, with Carlton Fisk, Rick Miller, Rick Burleson, Juan Beniquez, Cecil Cooper, and Dwight Evans. But it was Lynn and Rice leading them with their nickname of the Goldust Twins. Lynn's strong finish at the end of 1974 carried into '75 as he hit .333 with a .978 OPS and 3 home runs in April, and he continued to the first half. He was named AL Player of the Month in June after hitting .325 with a 1.013 OPS with 7 home runs and 32 RBIs in 31 games, including the June 18th game against the Tigers, where he had 3 home runs, a triple, and a single, as he drove in 10 runners. And at the All-Star break, he was hitting .342 with a .620 slug percentage, and a .408 on-base percentage for a 1.028 OPS, hitting 16 home runs and driving in 71, as he was named to the All-Star team as a reserve. The Red Sox lead in the division by 4 games to that point. And the question was, could Lynn and the Red Sox continue in the second half, with the Red Sox not being able to finish the job in recent years, and unlikely that a rookie could keep that pace. But it was the year of the unexpected for the team. Lynn wasn't quite as good in the second half, with a pretty high bar he set, still hitting .320 with an .896 OPS and 5 home runs. And for the season, that gave him a .331 average with 21 home runs and 105 RBIs, leading the league in runs and doubles. with a 401 on-base percentage and a .566 slug, which also led the league and gave him a league-leading .967 OPS, while also leading in runs created per 27 outs, with only Rod Carew beating a 7.4 WAR amongst position players. Aside from just his offense, he was also great in the field, making up the Red Sox all-star outfield of the late 70s, including Jim Rice and Dwight Evans. He recorded the most assists in center field in 75, while finishing in the top 5 of fielding percentage and range factor, as he took home a Gold Glove. But what is most remembered is the other awards he took home. Easily winning Rookie of the Year would be unanimous if his teammate Jim Rice did not receive half a first-place vote, and he would make history by being named the first ever Rookie MVP, receiving 22 of 24 first-place votes, with Raleigh Fingers receiving the other 2. And it's hard to say he didn't deserve it, when the man who finished second in John Mayberry finishes behind him in almost every category, as he helped the Red Sox win 95 games, the most in 26 years, as they finally won the AL East. And the Red Sox and Lynn's run did not end there. They faced the A's in the ALCS, with the A's winning the last 3 World Series. And 3 is how many games the Red Sox needed, as they swept the team that seemed unbeatable, as Lynn would hit .364 in the series with 3 RBIs. And they were up against another seemingly unbeatable team in the Reds in the World Series. The Big Red Machine winning 108 games that year, not taking home a title yet that decade, but still winning 3 pennants to that point, with numerous veteran all-stars going up against the underdog Red Sox, led by a number of young stars. And they would push them to the brink. Lynn had multiple hits in his first World Series game, and cooled down a little over the next 4, leading into the famous Game 6. And that game would open with Lynn hitting a 3-run home run in the first inning. That looked like it could be the difference in the game, with Louis Tiant pitching. Until the 5th, when with 2 on, Ken Griffey hit a drive to center, causing Lynn to crash into the unpadded left center field wall, as Griffey drove in 2 on a triple. But that wasn't the main reason Fenway went quiet. It was when Lynn appeared shaken, later saying he couldn't feel anything from the waist down. But after being worked on by the trainer, he stayed in the game, and he was on deck when Carlton Fisk hit the walk-off in the 12th off the foul pole to continue the magical season. But the magical season came to an end when they would lose 4-3 in Game 7, which was the 6th one-run game of the series, as Lynn hit .280 with a home run and a double in the series. Despite the heartbreaking ending, with the young core, it appeared the Red Sox would be contenders for a while. And while they were consistent contenders, winning over 90 games the last 3 years of the 70s, they wouldn't make the playoffs again until the young core was aging and almost gone in 1986. As for Fred Lynn, he really had nowhere to go but down after his rookie season. Over the next 3 seasons, he dealt with some injuries as he averaged a 3.5 WAR, hitting 50 home runs and 94 doubles, hitting .291 with an .829 OPS, being named an All-Star in all 3 seasons, while winning a Gold Glove in 1978. The same year the Red Sox blew a 14-game lead and lost the AL tiebreaker game to the Yankees. But after an off-season of strength training, he would have the best season of his career in 1979. He set career highs in almost every category, most notably his 39 home runs and 122 RBIs, to go with his 8.9 WAR. And he led in a number of categories, winning the batting title with a .333 average, while leading in on-base, slug, OPS, and OPS+. And surprisingly, he finished 4th in MVP voting, which was a definite snub. RBIs and runs was about the only categories Don Baylor beat Lynn in, as he also played 15 more games, while Lynn also won a Gold Glove. It was probably the Angels winning the division that got him the MVP, though the Red Sox were still competitive, as they won 91 games. At least as far as the Hall of Fame is concerned, a second MVP would have been huge for Lynn. But the main thing that kept Lynn from putting up more MVP seasons was the injuries. He played 1 more season for the Red Sox, where he hit .300 for the last time, while receiving MVP votes for the last time, along with his last Gold Glove. And after the Red Sox didn't pay him what he thought he was worth, he was traded to the Angels, after being a lifetime .347 hitter at Fenway Park. He would continue to be a top player for the Angels, not quite as good as he once was, making his last 3 All-Star games and his first 3 seasons there, hitting .299 with an .891 OPS in 1982, helping the Angels win the division. In the ALCS against the Brewers, he hit an insane .611 in the series, with a 1.539 OPS. As despite losing the series in 5 games, he was named ALCS MVP, the only one to do so on a losing team. He played 2 more seasons for the Angels, still strong, being limited by injuries in 1983, and expected to stay in the West Coast. He surprised everyone by heading to Baltimore in 1985. Lynn was one of the notable names from this rough period for the Orioles, when Edward Williams' attempts to buy championships resulted in poor seasons. Lynn playing 3.5 seasons there, only playing more than 115 games once, which was his first season. As while he wasn't terrible, it was obvious he was declining, as his time was also noted for his criticism of the Orioles hats, specifically the cartoon Oriole on the front, which he called the hat with the funny little duck on it. Perhaps that was the last straw, as he would be traded to the contending Tigers in 1988, which resulted in some initial controversy as he didn't arrive in Chicago, where the Tigers were playing, until after the deadline passed. He was initially declared ineligible for the playoffs, but Peter Ueberroth overruled the decision. But it didn't matter anyway, as the Tigers finished one game behind the Red Sox. Lynn played for the Tigers in '89, and his performance matched the rest of the team, as they lost 103 games, as Lynn compiled just a .8 WAR in 117 games, while hitting just .241, as it was clear Lynn's time was nearing its end. He would play one more season, going back to the West Coast, and playing in the NL for the first time for the Padres, appearing in 90 games as he compiled his first negative WAR, as the final game of his great career came on October 3rd. In a career that saw him hit 306 home runs, record 1,960 hits for a .283 average with an .845 OPS and a 50.2 WAR, winning 4 Gold Gloves, making 9 All-Star teams, where he would hit 4 home runs, second to only Stan Musial, while being the only player to hit a Grand Slam in the All-Star game, and also at the time being the only one to win MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season. He received 5.5% in his first Hall of Fame vote, then 4.7% the next, which kept him off future ballots. I feel that if he wins the '79 MVP, he gets a lot more consideration, like many who feel two-time MVP Dale Murphy should, who is right behind him in Jaws for center fielders, while Kirby Puckett, who's in the Hall of Fame, is just above him. But what hurt Lynn the most was the injuries. Being a hard-nosed player who wasn't afraid to run into a wall or break up a double play, he played 150 games just one season and 144 times in his 17-year career, a majority of his seasons resulting in him playing less than 120 games. And if he gets even a third of those games back, he records 2,000 hits and adds to his home run totals, which he wasn't really known for. Regardless of the injuries, he still had a great career and was easily one of the best during his peak. And of all the great players who came before him, he was the first rookie to win MVP, and with many who came close in the years after, such as Dwight Gooden, Mark McGwire, Mike Piazza, Albert Pujols, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, Pete Alonso, and many more. The only other player to accomplish that same feat was Ichiro Suzuki in 2001. Lynn and Suzuki have similarities in making noise in the baseball world before getting to Major League Baseball, Lynn being a big part of USC's dynasty, while Ichiro was already a massive star in Japan, both getting high-level experience that helped them deal with the pressure, with Ichiro going beyond expectations. Hitting a Hall of Fame career, Lynn fell short with his numerous injuries. Still, he was one of the best of the late 70s and the early 80s, and he exploded onto the Major League scene like few ever have, and doing something no one had done, and only one has done since, with Fred Lynn becoming a legend after just one season. Hopefully you liked this video, and if so, please consider liking and subscribing for new videos every week. Thank you.